in moments like this where a team blows a big lead in the finals, and I don't know if it's just because this finals isn't maybe as hyped up as previous ones have been. Maybe that's why. But it feels like today, and in large part rightfully so, it's, man, Tyrese Halliburton, most clutch run in NBA history in the playoffs. And look at this scrappy Pacers team and the depth, and Carlisle's a championship coach, and what a win for them. And on the other side, the Oklahoma City stuff, it's, yeah, Shea had a good game, and they kind of didn't step up. Where it's, man, previous teams, if those Heatles have blown a 15-point lead in the finals, which actually they did against Dallas, I think it was exactly 15 to the Dallas Mavericks in the NBA Finals in 2011, we're crushing Miami. If Golden State, I mean, this is a series we're talking about, but blowing a 3-1 lead, we're crushing the Warriors. We are crushing some of these teams that we have high expectations for. So like that does, at least for the moment, just for today at the very least, folks, can we back off just a little bit with the dynasty talk? Listen, I know SGA is amazing. They've got depth. Dagnall's a great coach. I'll get to him in just a minute. They've got 15 draft picks up until 2032. They are set for the future and then some. They have the pieces to be a dynasty. A lot of teams have had the pieces to be a dynasty. Some of those teams haven't even won a championship in their history. All right, look. I mean, Sacramento Kings in the early 2000s had a great basketball team that could have reeled off a couple titles. Couldn't do it. And so, let's slow down just a little bit and crowning this team a dynasty, and let's hold them at least, if we're going to be consistent, to a dynasty standard. I'm going to try and keep it somewhere in the middle. So we can show you Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's numbers. It was actually generally pretty good in this basketball game, right? 38 points, which is the most points in a finals debut since Allen Iverson in 2001, and obviously what was one of the most iconic finals performances ever, the 48 points in game one of that finals. But 5 rebounds, only 3 assists. He did give you 3 steals, 14 of 30 from the field, and 3 for 6 from 3. Pretty efficient. So it wasn't a situation where Tyrese was taking a million shots. You'd like to be slightly more efficient on 30 shot attempts, but generally 14 of 30, you basically made almost half your shots. So it's not bad. I'm not going to crush Shai Gilgeous-Alexander because he missed the fadeaway mid-range shot. That's a shot SGA is going to make more times than not. Now, if this comes to let's say it's game 4, let's go crazy for a minute. Let's say the Pacers have like a 2-1 series lead in game 4 in Indiana. I think that's going to be like a week from today, next Friday. And SGA has an opportunity to tie the game again, or to win the game, or to get it to a 3-point lead, and misses it. Then it's like, oh, okay, that's twice now. You're 0 for 2. We're going to start asking questions about whether you can come up with the big moments in these big games in the NBA Finals. The thing that I found, I think there's a little bit of second guessing on Oklahoma City's starting lineup, and not enough second guessing on their rotations the rest of the game. What I mean by that is, because I remember I'm watching the game, as it's about to come on and tip-off's about to, they show the Indiana starting lineup, same as usual. And as soon as Mike Breen says, and there's a change in the Oklahoma City lineup, I'm like, what? Chet Holmgren is the big, Hartenstein to the bench, Isaiah Joe's in. Or was that Isaiah Joe, Case and Walls? Whatever. They started a guard in place. I think it was Case and Walls, come to think of it, actually. I want to make sure I get this right because I don't want to be inaccurate in this show. Yeah, it was Case and Walls. My bad. Case and Walls started, so the Thunder essentially went smaller. We're going to start Chet Holmgren as our center, bring Hartenstein off the bench. It worked. Getting off to that fast start, holding Indiana to 20 points, the best offensive lead, to 20 points in the first quarter. I mean, Oklahoma City's defense in this game, through large stretches, was as good as it was in the regular season all year long, and in the playoffs all season long, where it was, this is a crazy stat, where the Pacers had 19 turnovers in the first half, 25 for the basketball game. Oklahoma City entering last night, when forcing 22 or more turnovers, 22-0, winning on average by 18 points per game. So, in that regard, they did their job through large stretches of the game. Now, fourth quarter, the Pacers go nuclear from 3. They're getting good looks. I thought the 2 big issues for Oklahoma City last night was this. Because we could talk about Jalen Williams' shot. I think it was 6 for 19. Chet Holmgren was a no-show in this basketball game. To me, the blame goes on Dagnall for one aspect of it, and then the Oklahoma City collective in the second aspect. The Dagnall aspect of it is, wait a second, you've been the best half-court defense in the league. And part of having a great half-court defense is having great either bigs inside or great long, help defenders, all of it, playing great team defense. It worked. I understood why you decided to put Hartenstein on the bench and put Case and Walls in, because he says, okay, the way Indiana likes to play, we're going to go up and down the floor, fast-paced. That's what we do. That's what killed the Knicks. We'll counter. We'll play the same way. And it worked through large stretches of that game. Hartenstein, Chet Holmgren never played a second of that basketball game on the floor together. What? How does that happen? Like that. And I thought, and again, the strategy was working even in the sense that Indiana, I feel like a bunch of their turnovers, didn't it feel like last night, every time they drove it in the paint, there'd be like, I feel like 7 Oklahoma City Thunders crying in the paint, and they throw a pass, and a guy in the perimeter, like an SGA or somebody, would grab it, take it the other way, and they get a transition layup or dunk. It felt like if you got more help inside, maybe the perimeter defenders wouldn't have had to work as hard to collapse on the paint for an inside, for a guy driving to the basket or off the pick and roll. All of those different things. That part's on Dagnall. Holmgren, who was bad last night, again, young player. It is year 2 for Chet Holmgren as a starter in the NBA. He missed a lot of time this year. We get that. That happens to young players in the NBA Finals. I assume he'll get better. Holmgren and Hartenstein have to be on the floor at some point together. The second aspect of it, and to me, the biggest reason that the Pacers got back into this game in the fourth quarter, is the reason that they've been so successful all playoffs long, and the reason, to me, frankly, the biggest reason why they beat the New York Knicks in the third round in the conference finals is that they controlled the pace. They just did it in a different way that they did in the conference finals. Whereas against the Knicks, we know about Tibbs, and you got fired this week really in large part for this reason. Running his starters in the ground, playing him a ton of minutes. Brunson, Cat are just gassed come fourth quarter. It's going to be a track meet. We're just going to run you off the floor. You have to take Brunson out in some spots. We're going to hope we can stop Cat. We're just going to run you up and down the floor. It's why they pulled away in that game 6 the way that they did after it was close at halftime. Against Oklahoma City, they were running and gunning, but because OKC's half-court defense was as good as it was, they said, Oklahoma City kind of did the same thing with countering with their starting lineup. They said, oh, okay, let's slow it down. Possession by possession. Let's move the basketball. I mean, in some cases, the Pacers actually played ISO. Andrew Nembhard, who I've loved since college, by the way. I was a big Nembhard fan when he came out of college. You can ask Mike Guido that. Shout out to Mike. Andrew Nembhard down 6 with a little over 2 minutes left. He's got SGA, which I believe they're both tight with each other. I think they're both Canadian. Is crossing him up, shooting a step back 3. I'm watching. I'm like, what are you All right, it's a 3-point game. Like, to me, outside of obviously the Halliburton game winner, that felt like the shot of the game to me, where it was Oklahoma City, like Indiana's made their run. OKC's going to pull away. Even when Shea hits the shot, the mid-ranger with about a minute and a half to go to put him up 5, I'm like, okay, that's it. They're going to pull. Nope. A 5-point deficit with a minute and a half left is nothing to a Pacers team that has closed 9-point deficits with less than a minute left. Like, that's not a big sort of adjustment that they have to make over the course of a playoff run over the series. So listen, I don't think this you need to overreact in OKC. I'll sort of get into my game 2 prediction later. I'll save the stat I'm going to give for that segment, even though I could technically use it for this. So stay tuned for that. But listen, I still feel like Oklahoma City is the better basketball team, but I do like last night sort of reaffirmed this is going to be a closer series than you think. This is going to be a more entertaining finals than the casual fans on social media and the meme accounts and otherwise would like you to believe. Contrasting style of play, very smart coaches. One's a championship coach. One's a younger guy who's done a great job in his brief tenure in the league. Let's see what happens. So Indiana up a game to nothing. And man, it's going to be a fun finals. I'll tell you that. I had Thunder in 6. I still feel good about that pick. But Indiana certainly reaffirmed there's a reason that we're here on the stage. So kudos to the Pacers for their game 2 win. Or sorry, my bad, for their game 1 win last night. And it's just I keep harkening back to just watching, especially in the second half. I'm like, okay, when are Holmgren and Hartenstein going to be on the floor together? Like, it's almost a little bit what the Timberwolves tried, and they got to a conference finals doing it, I guess. But generally, it was still a clunky fit. When they made the big trade, the controversial trade for Rudy Gobert, they said, hey, we're just going to be the biggest team in the league. We're going to have to, Twin Towers with Cat and with Rudy Gobert. That's how we're going to defend teams, and they're not going to score much on us down low. That's kind of what Oklahoma City's done with Chet Holmgren and with Hartenstein. We're just going to be bigger than you. We're going to be longer than you. I understood why they did it in the starting lineup. I don't understand why they didn't go back to that once Indiana started because they got close in that third quarter. They got it down to like 8 points. Then the Thunder would reel off 4 or 5 straight points in a row, get it back to double digits. And so I was shocked that Dagnall went away from that. I imagine he'll go back to that. Maybe not even the starting lineup. But at some point in that game on Sunday night, he'll go back to that two big lineup with Hartenstein and Holmgren. Thanks so much for watching the show on YouTube, and be sure to go click that big red subscribe button and check out the other clips and full shows from Carving It Up Live, as well as our other incredible content creators here on the Grid Network.